Hello everyone, this is Drew May here, going to go through and kind of show you the components of my lesson plan and some of the Web 2.0 tools the kids will need to use during the lesson. So as we go down through the parts here, I have the assessment tool right here, which will be a personal narrative rubric. What resources will be needed for the lesson. The students will each need a computer. They will need to have access to Microsoft Word, Adobe Spark, Screencast-O-Matic, Padlet if necessary, and the teacher will use Anchor to voice their podcast within the lesson. So in the overview, right here, it'll last 4 weeks, and in the first week, they will deconstruct the standard, and we will start on the basics of narrative writing. In week 2, they will actually get into their writing. This is where they listen to the podcast in the video in each phase, and then in the third week they will plan their personal narrative, write their introduction, write their draft, and then they will get into the computer aspects of it. And then during the last week they will be publishing and they will be presenting. So this lesson does a really good job of putting in all 4 C's, which the students are creating a piece of narrative writing and a piece of original work. They collaborate together using Office 365. They'll use critical thinking skills to solve and assess one another's writing, and they will communicate with one another on their writing, and they'll be communicating with the teacher, and then they'll be communicating their narrative at the end when they present. So here are the essential questions. What is narrative writing, and how do writers share personal experiences through writing? And then their I can statements, that they can use thoughts, feelings, and actions in time words to order event and things like that. Then their assessment will be their personal narrative rubric, which will be attached to the blog. And then the resources with computers, YouTube, and the Web 2.0 tools that they'll need. The instruction plan is that they'll go through, and to build those foundational skills within 2nd and 3rd grade, you're going to need as a teacher to build those foundational writing skills. Make sure that they can capitalize the beginning of a sentence, that they know a sentence has a subject and a predicate, a noun and a verb, and that they have some of those foundational skills, because some of those kids do lack those basic writing skills and basic sentence structure. So those are very important to get into before you get into the actual typing and the technology piece of it. And also, one of the problems that kind of came up was since they lack a lot of the skills for the computer in 2nd and 3rd grade, then it's really important to go in and make sure that you front load those skills. If there's a deviation from the plan, like if kids had problems with their computers or anything like that, I've actually put in here in the management section of kind of how to troubleshoot some of those pieces. So how I thought that it could be improved as part of my reflection would be to front load a lot of the vocabulary up front. I didn't really talk a lot about vocabulary with some of these students, and some of them do lack the vocabulary needed to understand what I'm saying, especially some of the ESOLs. So front loading some of that, teaching some of the computer skills up front, and then working into it versus just doing it all at once, I thought would really improve it. That way you're not necessarily teaching 2 things basically at the same time. You can allow some of their background knowledge in computers to kind of help them as you go through the lessons. So that's something that I think could really be improved with this lesson. So as part of the lesson, the students are going to get to use several things. I know that's the important part, is them being able to use things. So first is what the teacher would use. The teacher could use Anchor, and this is Anchor. I just logged in with my Google account, and then I can start doing podcasts. So if I'm reading a piece of narrative that's on the board or that they can see on their computer, I can embed that into Schoology, which we use at Hamilton Crossing, and they can click and they can listen to my podcast where I'm actually reading a narrative sample. And then Padlet as a backup, just in case you wanted to troubleshoot, or if Office 365 wasn't working or something like that. Padlet's a great way to go in. You can see this is some of my students' older pieces that they've done about famous people, but they can go in and make a Padlet and they can work on it together. So they can do it as a canvas and as a timeline if you want to talk about sequence within a narrative. So that's a good alternative if some other collaborative technology is not working. Padlet, kids seem to really like it. The next one that kids would use would be Office 365. All of our students have 365 accounts, so they can go in and they can share their pieces of writing with the teacher. So this student, she shared hers with mine, and she was doing how-to writing. So I'll just show this as an example. And it was about how to make hot chocolate. So you can see that she sent me this. This is her writing, first how she did it. And then you can see where I made highlights for her edit, like how long in the microwave, what kind of milk would you put in there? Would you put in chocolate milk, or would you put in white milk? How would you do it? So adding some of these adjectives and adverbs in there to really extend her writing as part of the extension piece of it. So she did a really good job. We were just adding in some of the extras as far as the extension, and she is actually an ESOL student, so I was very impressed with her. And then the last one is Adobe Spark Video. So if you go in here, they can go in and they can do their sequence of videos, and they can put their narrative, like they can have their topic sentence would be the first one, then they would have their second one, so on and so forth, and then they would be able to present as a video. And you can see I've got a couple here, like my trip to Disneyland, my bike, my homework, like a fun time at the pool, and then this one was talking about her birthday. So, and she got a dog for her birthday, so she was really excited. But these are how the kids can use them, and they can actually collaborate on all of these tools. They can collaborate on Padlet. They can collaborate on Adobe Spark and things like that. So I really enjoyed this lesson. I thought that some of the products they were coming up with, I was really surprised. So I hope y'all enjoy it, and if you happen to use it, just please let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.